I'd share just in a quick installment a little bit of tips and tricks I found online, and I'm actually going to share some of these sites with you as well, so you can go and see them at your own volition. But basically it's talking about some of the painting options. While we'll be using airbrush at some point in this kit, because the kit is so big, I thought more practical to find other painting options, as some other people have pointed out. Also in prepping the model. So we all know to remove residue and that off the kit, the first thing we're going to do when we get out of the box is wash it really well in a little Dawn soap water, and then dry that really well before we go any further. But looking online over using standard primer, which I've sometimes gotten from, say, a hardware store, or if you go to the model store, you're going to be buying a can primer. It's usually pretty expensive for a small can. So I saw some suggestions online. I went and tried this with this model. I'm finding it very beneficial. Number one, for basically getting the model prepped for accepting paint. And the reason they use this quite heavy, the one guy suggests, is because when you're painting the models, a lot of times we have to mask areas off, to paint certain areas later, a lot of times with masking tape or whatever, and if the paint wasn't properly adhered to the model, you would rip up the tape and rip off half the paint. And of course have to redo everything again, which gets pretty involved if you had multiple coats on there, because it isn't going to blend in naturally. So basically this is something they use in the auto industry for prepping plastic car bumpers. So why not? Wouldn't it be good for model kits? So basically this is a Duplicolor. It's a plastic adhesion promoter. It goes on very light, dries very quickly. In standard temps, this will dry at about 15 minutes. So it isn't a long waiting time. You put a coat of this on your model before you do the priming, and you're pretty much good to go. As far as primer, this is another thing that was suggested also from the auto industry. Duplicolor Automotive Primer 2-in-1. So this is a filler and a sandable primer. So a lot of times you may have to sand down your model between coats because you want a nice even coat on there, especially with some Starship models or airplanes, things like that. This is going to give you the option to do that very well. I did spray it, as you can see on here. I found the finish to come on very nice and even. Very good coverage without having to throw a lot of paint on there. The good news is for something like this, you know, these, if you buy them online through an automotive store, will be about $6 to $7.50 a can, and it's going to last infinitely longer than buying one of those small cans of spray paint that you would get at a hobby store. I talked about in some of the kit prep, you know, blackening them out and then also adding a white spray in there for color light reflection if you're lighting your model. Both of these are good options, and because they're cheap but they do a good job. They're 99 cents at like a Home Depot, so you can pick up multiple cans of this for the price you would probably pick up one can of normal spray paint somewhere else. And they do an excellent job that you would always have some on hand. So that's a quick tip and trick for today. Happy modeling. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a great day.